A Halloween to Remember, a short, spooky story by Nilsen Bjørneraas. Narrated by Marius Nordeng. Chapter 1. Halloween. In the quiet village of Halloween, the sun rose ever so slowly behind the mountain tops, casting a warm, if not blood-stained color upon the houses that lined the streets. While most of the houses appeared ordinary, one could sense a subtle anticipation in the air. Among these heartwarming homes, each painted in shades of autumn, a youngster named William burst out the door, with his backpack strapped on. With an energy rivaling the sun itself, he grabbed his bike, which was flung on the neatly made lawn outside their house, and pedaled down the street with great purpose. As he passed certain houses, Lily, Natalie, and Sam burst out and joined William on their great quest. "Today's the day, guys," William uttered. The enthusiasm among the friends was beyond that of mere mortals. Their energy was infectious as they rode down the soon-to-be busy streets. It was the most celebrated day in Halloween after all. The day of Halloween. As they rode down the streets, they noticed houses adorned with vibrant and spooky Halloween decorations. They awed as they rode past each one, almost failing to observe their pathing. Lily spoke with a hastened breath. "I hope we get to see many costumes in town today," Natalie quickly responded. "It's too early, Lily. I bet we won't see a single person dressed up. They don't take it seriously." "Or we just take it too seriously," Sam mumbled behind them. Natalie simply grunted in response. "I think we will see what we see," William uttered. Everyone was rather confused by this. "I am rather certain we will see lots of fun things today," Lily continued. And indeed, she was correct. The day of Halloween had much in store for the inhabitants of Halloween. "We must hurry," William said, eagerly, as he looked at his wristwatch. In the dead center of it, there was a pumpkin, rather fitting for the occasion. He continued, "We have to go to Mr. Renfrey before the shop opens. Remember what he told us? Something very unique should be in his possession on this very day." The friends pedaled their bikes toward Halloween's center with great determination. Chapter 2. Mr. Renfrey's Shop of Curiosities. As they entered the village town, Halloween decoration adorned every corner. Pumpkins grinned from porches, ghostly figures swayed in the breeze, and spooky music filled the air. The village was both cozy and eerily delightful, perfectly capturing the essence of the season. As they strolled through the cobblestone streets, they came across an enchanting little shop, where an oversized lantern adorned the entryway, named Mr. Renfrey's Shop of Curiosities. Inside, the shop was filled with themed delights, costumes, masks, and spooky decorations. Behind the counter stood a quirky and enthusiastic shopkeeper, Mr. Renfrey. He had an enthusiasm for Halloween that surpassed even them. Renfrey was already addressing another customer, not eyeing the group at first. "Mr. Renfrey's Shop of Curiosities. We will illuminate the spook in you, and if not, a 10% discount on any mask you find," Renfrey exclaimed, his voice filled with enthusiasm. He gazed at the newly entered customers, his eyes lit up with excitement as he realized it was the group of friends. They knew each other very well, after all. "Friends!" he yelled. "Mr. Renfrey!" They rushed to the counter, forming a line like eager students ready to ask their professor a crucial question. "Do you have it?" William asked. "Oh, that?" Renfrey sighed. He rummaged behind the counter as he continued. I'm so sorry, but it seems like it indeed came. From behind the counter he raised up a mysterious device, a dusty old gramophone adorned with mysterious design. The group frowned at the sight. What is it? Lily asked. Ah, my dear friends, the moment you have awaited for so long. It's not an ordinary device indeed, and don't get me speaking about the hassle I had to go through to get it. Renfrey was overly theatrical all of a sudden. The Hallower! In response to his dramatic reveal, the room transformed. Lights flickered and eerie sound effects filled the air. The group was rather startled and confused, though intrigued. The device was of metal and wood. There wasn't much else to say. It looked like a typical old gramophone. Sam inquired, The Hallower? The room reacted to the words of his question, almost as if the very words of Hallower. It happened again. Were magically entwined with the story. The group and Mr. Renfrey had a minor existential crisis, though quickly moved on. Well, indeed, Renfrey answered. What a lame name, Natalie uttered. But lame it is not. Renfrey tried at best to examine the device. Gaze upon the ancient speaker. He pointed their attention at the gramophone's tube. See for yourselves. It holds untold secrets for you to explore. It's a gramophone, Natalie voiced. Indeed, but not just any gramophone. It's the gramophone of the mysterious Gith. Lily blurted out. She was rather uncertain what just happened, though moved on. The what? Sam asked. What does it do? William asked. Well, what does it not do is a question I would rather ask. Renfrey scratched his head. He examined the device once more, trying to find an on switch. In came a peculiar youngster, Morgana. The door slammed behind her, and lightning struck outside, as if she brought terror with her. Her striking figure with a Halloween-themed wardrobe and an air of mystique made a grand entrance, as she stood there with a lollipop in her hand. If Halloween could manifest into a person, she was it. Though her voice was not what you would expect, it was light and joyful. What are you guys doing? She said, and sprang to join the group. Even though she wasn't part of their gang, she acted like their younger sister, eager to join in everything her older siblings did. Morgana, the group mumbled. We were just looking at this mysterious device, Renfrey said. Cool, Morgana said, and continued to nibble on her lollipop. We can't seem to activate it, Renfrey continued. What about this? Morgana said, as she reached to press an overly suggestive button on the side of the device with the text, Beware, do not press this button. As she pressed the button, the device indeed responded with nothing. Well, that was disappointing, Natalie said. Wait, Sam whispered. Look. Runes began to emerge from the wooden walls of the device. The entire room descended into an eerie, vivid darkness. Mr. Renfrey jumped back a few paces. The youngsters too made space between them and the device, except Morgana. She gazed with wide eyes at the event. The gramophone started winding itself up. Then a voice of an older British man came from within it. Is it on? Hello? Can you hear me? His voice was very welcoming and very familiar. Everyone was shocked. They spoke not. Hello? I can sense your presence. Do please speak. Hello? Lily mumbled, ever so carefully. Oh, hello there, little ones. He spoke with joyful enthusiasm. How can I assist you today? They all ogled each other, uncertain what to respond. Who are you? Lily asked. Oh, me? Just your everyday Codsworth, the voice replied. How can you speak to us? William asked. How? Well, I don't know. How can you speak? With my mouth, William continued. Well, there you have it. Oh, wait, I don't have one. A good question indeed. There was a pause. What is your purpose? Sam asked. Oh, I don't know. It's been ages since someone asked me that question. Codsworth's voice carried a hint of melancholy. I'm sorry, we didn't mean to make you sad, Sam said. Don't worry, I can't feel like you do, or at least I don't think so. Not certain. Codsworth began rummaging within the space he was in. How this was all possible, one could not tell, yet some things are better left to mystery. Are you a ghost? Lily inquired. A ghost? He laughed, and then he laughed some more, before he abruptly halted. Wait, am I? You are inside a gramophone, you tell us, Natalie said. I haven't been asked that before, and honestly, I don't know, he replied. So you have no purpose then, Morgana said, rather harshly. I had a purpose, but I lost it. I don't know where he... Codsworth was filled with melancholy once more. It's all right. Leave the voice in the box be, William said. The man exclaimed, I know what you must do. The youngsters gained untold focus, and the room followed with an even darker setting. You must... Codsworth coughed and changed his voice to be more of that of a ghost. You must find the old mansion within the haunted forest and destroy the trickster spirit within. What? William asked. That is all. Codsworth quickly replied and just as quickly disappeared. The room lit up once more, and the situation was back to normal. Fascinating, Renfrey uttered, as he began to fondle the device. Did he say trickster spirit? Sam asked. He didn't say where this mansion was either, Natalie voiced. Just as she did, a small map popped out from a hidden latch in the device. Well then, looks like we are going on an adventure, Morgana said, seemingly reminiscent of a certain Martin Freeman in a well-known movie. We are? The group asked. Chapter 3 The Mansion. They found themselves once more pedaling down the streets without questioning the inexplicable return to motion. Deep down, they understood that the narrative needed progression, lest it remained trapped in a never-ending cycle of stagnant storytelling. Are we really going to a mansion to destroy a trickster spirit? Sam asked. Apparently, Lily said rather cheerfully. William, who had the map in his hands, examined it and found a fatal flaw. Guys, there is no path to this mansion. Not unless we take the secret route, Morgana voiced. Coming to an abrupt halt, they left discernible tire marks on the street. In unison, they questioned, a secret route? It was almost as if their words were orchestrated by an unseen hand. A veil of shadow fell upon Morgana's face. Her voice underwent a striking transformation, shifting abruptly from its usual tone to something much darker and unsettling. It turned rather spooky. There is an old passage. It would lead us to the mansion before it is too late. In perfect synchrony, the group echoed, Too late? Morgana swiftly reverted to her usual joyful demeanor, shedding the ominous aura. It's that way. She pointed down the road, where the streets were dark and twisted. No houses lined the streets in this direction. Sam's voice escalated in disbelief. That way? Morgana affirmed. Indeed. Well, I guess this is the day for exploration and spooky encounters, William commanded. Following Morgana down the dark, twisting path, the eerie ambience intensified with each passing moment. The nocturnal light filtered through the gnarled branches of ancient trees, casting long, ominous shadows across their route. Lily's voice quivered as she questioned, Morgana, are you certain this is the correct path? Morgana reassured them with a forced cheerfulness. Absolutely! This is a shortcut I took once to prove my bravery when I once was dared. After sharing confused looks with each rotation of their bicycle wheels, they delved deeper into the unknown, their apprehension intensifying. Upon rounding a bend in the road, an imposing silhouette materialized in the distance. Is that? Sam's voice barely above a whisper, his gaze firmly fixed on the foreboding shape ahead. It wasn't just any house, it was the manor. Perched on a hill, its windows resembled vacant eyes, and its walls were veiled in the withered vines. The mansion loomed like a solemn sentinel, its presence inducing shivers down their spines. Morgana, the one who had guided them to this disquieting locale, paused momentarily before declaring with newfound resolve, "We have arrived! The mansion in the heart of the haunted forest. Our destiny beckons!" "Destiny?" William questioned, his voice filled with a mix of excitement and apprehension. Natalie nodded in agreement. "Well, as cliché as it sounds, we can't turn back now, can we?" The group reluctantly dismounted their bikes, leaving them by the roadside, and approached the mansion on foot. The path leading up to the front door was overgrown with tangled vines and gnarled roots, as if nature itself was reclaiming the place. The moon cast an eerie glow on the mansion's facade, revealing its imposing presence. Just before they reached the front door, a shadowy figure moved in the darkness beyond the overgrown garden. A cackling, wicked laugh filled the air, sending shivers through their bodies. "Did anyone else hear that?" Lily whispered, her voice trembling. The others nodded, their hearts pounding. It seemed that the trickster had conjured a wicked witch to set a tone for the party of 5. "Just keep moving," William whispered. When they opened the massive wooden doors of the mansion, the doors creaked open, revealing a dimly lit foyer. The interior was filled with an eerie silence, broken only by the faint sound of their footsteps echoing on the marble floor. Lily, with her wide eyes scanning the surroundings, whispered, "This place gives me the creeps." Morgana, ever the fearless spirit, chimed in, "I think it's awesome." Morgana took the lead once again, delving deeper into the mansion. They passed through grand halls adorned with dusty paintings and ancient tapestries, each depicting scenes that seemed both mysterious and unsettling. It was as if the walls themselves held the memories of the past. Sam couldn't help but comment, "This mansion feels like it's straight out of a movie." Eventually they found themselves in a labyrinthine corridor with no obvious way out. The oppressive atmosphere seemed to tighten around them, and their nerves were on the edge. Before they knew it, they stumbled upon a room that sent shivers down their spines. It was dimly lit, and its walls were adorned with different paintings of the trickster, in a plethora of ornaments and settings. Whatever this spirit was, it truly loved itself, though its presence seemed to permeate the very air they breathed. Natalie, the voice of reason in the group, spoke up. "I have a bad feeling about this place." And in that moment, an ominous cackle echoed through the corridor. A wicked witch appeared in the doorway, her dark silhouette framed by the eerie glow of her magical wand. Her voice, a chilling symphony of malevolence, seemed to crawl into their minds, as if it could lay their souls bare. She taunted them.
"You thought you could enter my domain? You thought wrong."
Panic set in as they realized they were trapped with no escape from the malevolent witch. She raised her wand, warping the room around them. Desperation gripped them as they searched for an exit in the maze-like corridor. The witch cackling grew louder. Just as despair took hold, they found a dimly lit chamber through a nearby door, narrowly escaping her grasp. For now. In the center of the room sat the gramophone, the Hallower, aimed directly at them. Lily stepped forward and asked, "Mr. Ghost?" The voice from the gramophone responded, "Ah, you've made it. Welcome to the heart of the mystery, young adventurers." It was Codsworth. "How are you here?" Natalie inquired. "It's my duty to be here where you need me," Codsworth replied. "And I have summoned you here because you are the chosen ones, destined to knack that trickster for good." The group had no reply at first. "Chosen ones?" Lily questioned, her voice trembling. "Yes," Codsworth confirmed. His voice was strict now. "I told you earlier, are you guys that dense?" Codsworth catched himself in the act of being blunt. "I apologize." His voice changed back to its more lovable note. "But beware, for this place is not what it seems, and there are challenges ahead." "Like a challenge course?" Sam asked vigorously, his curiosity overcoming his fear. You will have to solve riddles, decipher cryptic clues, and face your deepest fears, Codsworth explained. Or just whack the fucker. It would be simpler. Morgana, with a mischievous grin, chimed in. Sounds like fun to me. Sam questioned, how can we do this? Oh, great question, young one. You will have to figure that one out yourselves. Good luck. Codsworth disappeared just as the last time. Sounds like a lot of work, Natalie sighed. And indeed, it would be, for the both of them, and the writer. We will simply have to see how the story unfolds. Codsworth returned briefly. Get moving! Interrupting the writer. They went from room to room, revealing untold horrors and mysteries, limited only by the imagination and the writer. As William opened yet another door, he was startled. Guys, over here! What is it? Sam uttered, out of breath. His eyes quickly saw what the fuss was about. The door had revealed a girl. She had a distinctive appearance that immediately caught the attention of the group. With a mysterious tattoo on her forearm and an air of enigmatic confidence that radiated from her. Are you all right? William mumbled. She simply nodded in response. William, wide-eyed and surprised, couldn't help but exclaim, Who are you? With a sly grin, the girl replied, 12. 12? Are you certain? Sam questioned. 12, she once more said. We've had enough cameos for one night, thanks, Natalie voiced and slammed shut the door. However right she was, this was not the last cameo they would encounter. Though she was correct in moving the story onwards, she knew deep within her core that more characters meant that a more profound skill was required of whomever wrote their journey, in order to keep it interesting. Thanks, Nat. Onwards they went, and as more doors were opened, more questions arose. Guys, what are we even looking for? Sam asked. The secret, I guess, William said. And what's that? Sam continued. Natalie bluntly said, Good fucking question. Sam was shunned. He didn't expect such bluntness. Lily, who was in the background, was quite observant. She had found the next clue. What about this? She laid her hands on an overly obvious book inside a bookshelf right next to them. Natalie wondered, was that there the whole time? The book was pulled and the door squeaked open, revealing yet more mysteries. As they trundled down the hidden passage, they found themselves in a dimly lit underground chamber. The air was cold and musty, and at the center of the room they discovered a large, ornate chest. The group halted at its marvel and stopped to ponder. Well, that's clearly a trap, Natalie remarked. Morgana found no reason to halt. She kept approaching it. Stop! Wait! Morgana! Sam exclaimed. What? Morgana said, whilst glancing back at them. It's just a chest. What could... She was abruptly interrupted as she touched the metal lock of the chest. It burst open, flung her aside without harming the poor girl, and out sprung what looked like a ghost. The group screeched in fright, except Morgana, obviously. Wah! William and Sam yelled so loud, Natalie eyed them in contempt. She even forgot to be scared. The ghost flew around the room as if it was confused and frightened. Who released me? It said, ghostly. The group was either screaming or gasping. It asked again, Who? We did? Lily mumbled as she sat crouching in a corner. The ghost stopped its menacing floating and flew straight to the group. It had a face eerily similar to that of Stephen Fry. You did? It said angrily. We didn't mean to, William uttered. A faint smile began to show on the ghost's face, eventually turning rather welcoming and happy. Its voice also followed this change of tone. Well, thank you. The ghost levitated across the room. I've been inside that cursed chest for so long. I must apologize for my behavior. I simply didn't expect visitors today. The group ogled each other, just like they did earlier when they met Codsworth. Something about this ghost felt familiar, though they couldn't quite put their finger on it. Natalie, ever the skeptic, questioned the apparition. "Why were you inside that chest?" The ghost replied with a touch of sadness. "I don't remember who I am, or how I ended up in that chest. All I know is that I've been trapped there for what feels like an eternity, and now I'm free, but I feel a deep sense of loss and misplacement within my soul." "Well, that was quite the exposition," Natalie mumbled. Lily, always empathetic, felt sympathy for the ghost. "That sounds terrible. Can we call you George?" The ghost, now identified as George the Ghost, smiled from ear to ear in excitement and flew all over the room before stopping to hover in front of them. "I am George the Ghost. What can I help you with?" He seemed even more familiar, as if connected to a certain prior individual. "Help us?" Sam asked. The ghost flinched, as if its coding was broken for a moment. "Well, yes, isn't that my purpose?" "What is my purpose?" George the Ghost was sad again. "We are on a quest to destroy the trickster spirit," Morgana said. George the Ghost replied with haste. "The trickster? Do not speak of him here." He gathered himself and continued. "Apologies. I can't say I'm particularly fond of the master of this place. I'm inclined to blame him for this little ghostly predicament." "You weren't a ghost before?" Sam asked. George the Ghost gazed out into nothingness, his spectral form shimmering. "I don't know." He then stared with anticipation at the group. "Shall we find out?" Chapter 4: The Trickster. Filled with determination in their hearts and a sense of whimsy in their steps, the group continued their journey with George the Ghost as their spectral guide, floating beside them. He regaled with tales of the trickster's exploits. Legend has it he can turn pumpkins into pranksters and broomsticks into mischievous imps. But fear not, my friends, for we have the power of teamwork and the spirit of Halloween on our side. Sam, the ever-contemplating individual, asked a rather important question. "How do we even defeat the trickster?" George replied, "Honestly, I have no idea." "Then why did you join us?" Natalie inquired. "Don't be rude," Lily commanded. George chuckled. "Oh, it's all right. Remember, Halloween is a time for fun and surprises. I'm certain you'll overcome anything." Most of the group agreed, reluctantly. They wandered the spooky halls and eventually heard a strange yet familiar tune. "Is that Eye of the Tiger?" Natalie asked. "Yeah, it is?" Sam pondered. The music emanated from a nearby room, a place they simply had to investigate. They approached the door in question, though were unable to open it. "Perhaps we should knock," Lily suggested. The group shared a nod. Why not try? Sam knocked on the door, and the music abruptly paused. The door was opened ever so carefully by a man clad in flannel. He looked like a model, though was scruffy and worn. "Yes," he said. Sam stood there, gazing at him with wide eyes, as if he knew the man, or at least should. The man continued to ask, "What do you want? I'm kind of busy here." "We are looking for a trickster spirit. Have you seen it?" Lily asked. "Trickster?" The man gazed back into the room with a smirk. "There is no trickster in here, I can tell you that." Sam couldn't help but voice his thoughts. "Do I know you?" The man replied rather quickly. "I don't," before he was interrupted by a woman's voice within the room. "Oh, Dean, come back to me," Bessie alluringly said, with a vibrant voice. Dean grinned, though quickly realized the company outside his room was unfit to understand his desires and thoughts at the moment. "Good luck on your hunt," he said, and smacked shut the door. "You all right, Sam?" William asked. "Yeah, never mind. Let's get moving." Guided by George, they reached a chamber with oversized pumpkins, a bubbling cauldron, and eerie elegy. Morgana whispered, "We're closer to the trickster. I can feel it." Green smoke appeared, revealing the wicked witch. "Fear not, young adventurers, she is but an illusion," George said with confidence. The witch flung a spell at George, turning him into a pie. He still managed to speak, though muffled.
I was wrong.
Chaos began as bewitched pumpkins and broomsticks, playful tricks and traps filled the arena. Morgana, with a twinkle of mischief in her eye, said, "I think we should play along." "What, are you mad?" William yelled. "Sad as it is, she might be right," Natalie said. "Indeed, it's a trickster after all. It wants to have fun. Let's grant it its wish," Sam suggested. They joined in the whimsical mayhem, riding broomsticks and even juggling enchanted pumpkins. Laughter filled the room as they embraced the spirit of the holiday. Amidst the chaos, William spotted something on a nearby table, the old dusty gramophone. The device had been hidden in plain sight all along. With a sudden burst of inspiration, he managed to play music from the device. As the wicked witch's spells continued to wreak havoc, the gramophone began to emit a hauntingly beautiful melody. The bewitched pumpkins and broomsticks slowed down as they gracefully followed the rhythm of the tune. The wicked witch, momentarily distracted by the enchanting melody, faltered in her spellcasting.
Music? My one true weakness. No!
The wicked witch tried to cast more spells, but her magic backfired in the light-hearted atmosphere. Pumpkins turned into confetti, and the broomsticks transformed into cackling scarecrows. With a final burst of laughter, the witch herself was transformed into a giant, giggling pumpkin. She rolled around the room, unable to control her comical form. Lily, seizing the opportunity, spoke with a voice more confident than ever before. "I think it's time we put an end to this magical mayhem." With a combined effort, they rolled the witch pumpkin into the cauldron, causing a burst of colorful fireworks and sparkles. When the smoke cleared, all that remained was a smiling jack-o'-lantern. The room erupted in cheers, and George the Ghost was turned back into his ghostly self, as he clapped his spectral hands in delight. They hadn't just defeated the Wicked Witch in the most Halloween-appropriate way possible, they had pleased the trickster spirit as well. For not only was it George who clapped his hands, it was also the trickster itself. The trickster walked slowly in the room behind them. "Congratulations, I'm rather impressed, I must say. I didn't expect you to complete this one." He was the spitting image of Richard Spite Jr. The mansion seemed to brighten and transform, but their adventure was not over yet, for the trickster was still here. "Yes, I am," the trickster said, "and I'm not going anywhere, lest it be on my own accord." The youngsters had no idea what was going on, nor did they have anything to say. The trickster continued, "Guys, relax, I'm done with you. Heck, I'll even do your friends a favor, since I'm in such a charitable mood. It stopped being funny a long time ago anyway." At first the group wasn't sure what to make of his speech, then they followed his gaze at George the Ghost, who had been watching with a gleeful expression. "Who, me?" George uttered. "It's about time you and your brother returned to your proper selves." "Brother?" Sam asked ever so dimly. The trickster snapped his fingers, and both George the Ghost, along with the gramophone, turned into living human beings. "George?" Codsworth exclaimed, as he stood with his real feet next to them. "Codsworth!" George cried back, with tears in his eyes. They rushed to meet and embraced each other with a brother's love, which had been absent for too long. The trickster rolled his eyes in response. "That's my cue. Nothing fun about this anymore." He turned to leave the group. "Wait!" Lily yelled. "Where will you go?" "Oh, just a place where two other brothers are in dire need of assistance." The group frowned as they watched the trickster pull a smirk before he snapped his fingers and disappeared out of thin air. George the Human turned to the group one last time, his smile radiating warmth that enveloped them all. "Thank you so much, my friends. You not only freed us from the grasp of the trickster spirit, but you also saved Halloween when it mattered the most." The group celebrated, knowing that they had not only saved Halloween, but also reforged a bond of love. And so, this whimsical Halloween adventure comes to a close, filled with laughter, love, and spookiness. The group of friends entered the moonlit night, and depart the mansion with smiles on their faces, prepared for yet another journey. Know that Halloween has been saved, and the memory of this fantastical adventure will forever linger as testament to the power of friendship and the enchantment of a Halloween to remember.